Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there may be unintended consequences. Press Secretary Josh Earnest responded. Watch.
I think what we've seen in the United States Congress is a pretty classic case of rapid onset buyer's remorse. The suggestion on the part of some members of the Senate was that they didn't know what they were voting for. They didn't understand the negative consequences.
Joining me right now is Fox News military analyst General Jack Keane. General, good to see you.
Good to see you,
Thanks so much for joining us. The Obama administration says that this sets a dangerous precedent. It could put U.S. troops at risk all around the world. What's your take on this? Is this dangerous?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And for me, it's less about Saudi Arabia, which is the focus of this, and it's more about America and the fact that we are the most globally engaged country in the world. So we have, in most countries in the world, over 100, for example, just the military alone, but in most countries we have diplomats and we also have intelligence agents and other officials. What removing sovereign immunity does, it exposes them to litigation and court cases in those countries if they object to something that we have done. Let's use the military. It's the clearest example. We have status of forces agreement that protects them in most countries, but not in all countries. In Iraq, for example, we have no status of forces agreement. Let's assume that some of our soldiers unintentionally killed civilians, and they were dragged into court as a result of that. They probably would not likely be in court themselves, but certainly their names would be in court, and litigation would be taking place, likely in a civil suit against them seeking punitive damages. We do not want that to happen. We have people around the world doing business for the United States, and they need sovereign immunity protection. And this bill takes that away from them.
Did Congress just, they became so frustrated with having to deal with the president's executive orders, not being able to be informed on some of the president's decisions, that they decide to override. This is the first override of a veto, but it was the wrong one to override, wasn't it?
It seems to me it is. I think this is a very emotionally charged issue. I mean, I feel it myself. I was in the Pentagon on 9/11. I lost 85 teammates, and I lost a close friend. So I understand the personal side of this, and I think certainly the senators and congressmen were all affected by that. The timing of the bill came very close to the 15th anniversary of 9/11. So that is a real issue. What I don't understand is when attempts were made to limit the bill to just that issue. In other words, victims of 9/11, that was not done. So the bill stayed very general.
I say it's way too broad.
So I think they can come back and renegotiate this thing and make it considerably more narrow.
We have been talking this morning about this blotch on Obama's legacy. An Illinois Veterans Affairs hospital under fire for leaving the bodies of dead veterans unclaimed for up to 2 months without a proper burial. General, I mean, this is coming after reports of excessive wait times, festering black mold, kitchen cockroaches in the VA hospitals. How do you fix the system?
Well, first of all, I think Secretary McDonald, who's a capable leader, is doing a better job than he's getting credit for. Also, second good thing is I've been visiting, I visit vets in VA hospitals, and the quality of care is very good.
Okay.
So the problem has always been access and responsiveness, and it deserves the attention it does get. In this case, dealing with bodies that are sitting in morgues, the families have not claimed them, and they're trying to get a disposition of them because they have limited space, and the system just is not responsive. You know, I think we're going to have a new administration. We got to take a look at the VA from an independent perspective when the new administration comes in, just to see what is still left to do to fix the system.
Okay, so there's more to this story than meets the eye is the bottom line there. Let me ask you about what's happening in Syria, the so-called ceasefire, which apparently Russia is not holding its word on. What's your take on where we are there?
Well, first of all, Russia has never held on a ceasefire. It violated multiple ceasefires in the Ukraine, and it's violated every one that we've tried to negotiate here in Syria. I believe Secretary Kerry has conceded far too much to the Russians from the beginning. You know, Syria is a case of so many lost opportunities to change the momentum against the Assad regime. The president has resisted the advice and recommendations of his own national security team to do that on multiple occasions here. And now they're considering it again, right now as we speak. Should they provide some more lethal aid to Syrian moderates to turn the tide against the Assad regime? I'm happy to agree with that. I also think they should put in safe zones, provide some humanitarian relief near each of the borders in Jordan and Turkey. They probably will not do that. But the fact of the matter is, Syria is a human catastrophe. It is a difficult, challenging problem. You know, people like us, we can sit here and come up with solutions.
Sure.
These are tough issues here to deal with. But we must deal with it given the humanitarian crisis that's taken place.
Why would we even expect Russia to be on the U.S. side when we know that Russia has already supported Assad? I mean, the U.S. wants Assad to be taken down. All of our friends in the Middle East want Assad to be taken down, and yet Russia sides with Assad.
Yeah, and they propped them up rather successfully. What Russia wants the United States cooperation with is on ISIS. Russia's in there for Assad, not for ISIS. But what's happening to Putin at home, he's been there a year now with this military incursion into Syria. And they really have not taken the territory that they thought they were going to. They thought it was going to be relatively easy once they got in there. Here's a year plus later, and they still have not retaken Aleppo because the Syrian moderates fight so fiercely, having lost their families, their homes, everything that they care about in life. They're literally fighting to the very end. So what's happening here is because of the political pressure at home, he wants cooperation with the United States. So he says, we're working on ISIS together. That's really what he's trying to get out of this negotiation with Kerry and the rest of it. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen because he's still supporting Syria.
Sure.
And Assad. All right, we will keep watching that. General, great insights from you as always.
Good talking.
We
Marie.
appreciate it. General Jack Keane there.